September 1949. Many aeroplanes are flying to Farnborough for the 10th display of the Society of British Aircraft Constructors. These aircraft are of great interest, for they may well represent the transition from piston engines to gas turbines. The de Havilland Sea Hornet, for example, reaches just about the highest performance possible with piston engines. The Handley Page Marathon 1 airliner has a very high standard of safety and economy, also based on years of piston engine development. The transition can be seen in an almost identical aeroplane, the Marathon 2. Gas turbines are here used to drive propellers. These two slim propeller turbines, or turboprops as we'll call them, both cut down weight and increase the speed. This is one way in which the gas turbine is revolutionizing flying. The turbojet is another. The de Havilland Vampire Night Fighter can be flown at speeds well beyond the limits of propellers. But the piston engine is by no means finished. The Bristol Wayfarer is one of the most economical aeroplanes in the world over short routes. We may have reached the peak of development of the piston engine, but we can already see evidence of an exciting future for the gas turbine. Here's a high-speed research turbojet aircraft. The Avro Delta wing making its first public appearance. The Vickers Naval Attacker was designed to an experimental specification. It's already undergone extensive deck landing trials. And here comes a turbojet airliner, the de Havilland Comet. Here they are, the piston engines, the turboprops, and the turbojets. Distinguished visitors from all over the world examine the aircraft on the ground and pick out points of interest. The Vickers Varsity has petal cowlings round the engines to make maintenance easy. The Chrisley Super Ace can be converted from an air ambulance to a four-seater taxi in about 15 minutes. The Sierva Air Horse is designed to carry bulky, heavy loads. Naval types are always prominent at this show. Here's the Attacker. A development of this is the 510. The Delta wing is only on static show, but we'll be able to see many of the aircraft in flight and to compare piston engine and gas turbine, propeller and jet in action. As the Comet is moved out of the park, we can appreciate its outline. The swept-back wing is one way of dealing with the very rapid rise in air resistance as the speed of sound is approached. Here's the world's largest and fastest turboprop airliner, the Handley Page Hermes 5. The Varsity is a crew trainer. And here's the 510, which is to give a demonstration of some of the fastest flying ever seen. This isn't only a gathering of aircraft. Here are the leading test pilots and the staff of Britain's senior experimental aircraft station, with Group Captain Wheeler in command. On the right is Summers, pilot of the first turboprop airliner. Wade is working with high-speed jet aircraft. Beaumont is flying the first British jet bomber, the Canberra. Zurakovsky is flying a twin-jet fighter. Shepard, on the left, is one of the most experienced of test pilots. Let's start with the piston-engined aircraft. The Vickers Seagull is a military amphibian with a contra-rotating propeller and a variable incidence wing. It's designed so that it can take off from an aircraft carrier. The Fairey Firefly is a carrier-borne fighter. It has rockets fixed to the side to give a very short takeoff. The Percival Prentice is replacing the Tiger Moth for Air Force training. It has the advantage of side-by-side seating for instructor and pupil. This is the second prototype of the Airspeed Ambassador and seats 36 people in luxurious comfort. The Avro Shackleton is in production for Coastal Command of the Royal Air Force. This short Sealand amphibian is ready for delivery to British West Indian Airways. The de Havilland Dove shows off its reversible pitch propellers. Piston engines are also helicopters. The Air Horse is the first multi-rotor helicopter built in Britain and the largest successful helicopter in the world. In the background is the Sierva Skeeter for private owners and pilot training. Westland Sikorsky S-51 is already widely used. It carries 3 passengers or up to half a ton of freight. Here comes a distinguished visitor, one of the short Solent flying boats used by British Overseas Airways on their South African service. As we've seen, the display gives an impressive demonstration of the achievements in piston-engined aircraft. Here are the airliners, the freighters, the trainers, the light aircraft and the helicopters, which have been developed through a generation to the reliable airplanes of today. But we're also concerned with tomorrow, and that means gas turbines. The turboprops are starting up. These power units will transform civil flying, for the gas turbine is by its very nature almost vibrationless, whereas the piston engine depends on many parts moving up and down. Britain has a clear lead in this new field of smooth, rapid and quiet transport. The Westland Wyvern is the first frontline aircraft in the world with a turboprop, an Armstrong Siddeley Python. And here again is the Handley Page Hermes 5. It has 4 Bristol Theseus turboprops. The Armstrong Whitworth Apollo is another new airliner. We can see the 4 Armstrong Siddeley Mamba gas turbines are perfectly synchronized. The first turboprop airliner in the world is coming into land. The Vickers Viscount, with 4 Rolls-Royce Dart engines, has now been flying since the summer of 1948. On the afternoon of September the 8th, 1949, important news comes through. The Bristol Brabazon is on its way, the world's largest civilian land plane. It's powered by 8 piston engines coupled in pairs, but later versions will have turboprops, 4 pairs of Bristol Proteus gas turbines. Here are the fastest aircraft in the show, the turbojets. Pike is flying the de Havilland Vampire Night Fighter. John Derry is flying a new jet fighter, the de Havilland Venom. Hayworth is flying a Gloucester Meteor with the new Rolls-Royce Avon engines. Shepherd, a Meteor with reheat. Gas turbines on this Meteor have an extension for reheat or after burning. Reheat is also fitted to this de Havilland Vampire. It enables the pilot to burn large quantities of extra fuel in the jet pipe of the engine, giving a powerful but extravagant boost for short periods. The de Havilland Vampire Night Fighter has an enlarged fuselage which holds radar operator and equipment for night fighting. The most powerful single-seater fighter in the world, the Avon Meteor. The pilot is intentionally making kerosene vapor trails to demonstrate that these new gas turbines can be instantly relit. Duke flies the Hawker Seahawk. The 510 has swept-back wings and tail surfaces. Lithgow flies down the runway at well over 600 miles an hour. The Venom, with its de Havilland Ghost engine, is also very fast, and its performance is secret. It flew for the first time on the Friday before the display. Wingtip fuel tanks can be attached to increase the range. Beaumont is flying the first British turbojet bomber, the English Electric Canberra. Takeoff is an impressive demonstration of the new Avon engines. John Cunningham is flying the de Havilland Comet. display has shown us the achievements of the British aircraft industry in many fields, in piston engines and gas turbines, in turboprops and turbojets. This is a time of transition, and this aircraft, the shape of the future.